Even after it ends, the manipulation doesn't stop. If you're feeling confused or emotionally torn after a breakup with a narcissist, here's what's really going on and how to protect your peace. In this video, we're going to answer a question. We get this question a lot. How do narcissists manipulate your emotions after they have broken up with you? Let's take a look at the tactics. How do they do it? What are the tactics? Let's talk about it. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is the place where we talk about all things narcissism related. And narcissism, as you know, really affects all of us in one way or another. So glad that you're here. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'd love to have you join our community of folks out there who are all learning about narcissism every day. So today we are responding to a question that came in from a community member. And this is an interesting one because it has come up a lot. So this person writes, "My narcissist ex manipulated me while I was still with him. But since he broke up with me, he's been outright mean. He's cruel, calling me names, talking down to me, insulting my intelligence. I feel confused and hurt and don't understand why this sudden change. Thank you." Yeah, so I think maybe a better question would be, how do they not manipulate your emotions before the breakup? Because narcissistic people, their manipulations are generally centered around keeping you stuck in the relationship, right? It's basically like a form of emotional abuse that keeps you stuck and keeps you believing that you can change them, that the relationship is healthy or good enough, or that you should just endure it. You may even see some of that manipulation post-breakup, but what we tend to see more is the rage when they are no longer able to control you. It becomes very ugly. So let's break down sort of the how they do it and the why they do it. Why do they do it? Well, when someone is narcissistic, their sense of self is fragile. They need you to admire them, adore them, and validate them, because their sense of self is entirely dependent upon what other people think of them rather than an internal sense of self-worth or value. As a result, when you leave them, when you end the relationship, you are essentially telling them that you do not value them anymore, and that can be devastating to them. It can shake their entire world. They then become enraged and will often lash out at you in order to pull you back in, or at least punish you for leaving them. But you'll also see some motivations. They might be motivated by revenge. Maybe the person did something to you, say, and now they want to make you pay. They might do this to harm you, especially if the breakup was initiated by you because they couldn't care less about how you feel. It's all about them, and they want to punish you for punishing them. You ever hear of the saying, eye for an eye? That's what that's all about. You broke my heart, I'm going to break yours. Then there's some motivation around control. They can't control the fact that you left them, but they can control how you feel about leaving them. They can't control that you're no longer in the relationship, but they can control whether or not they make your life miserable, whether they drive you crazy enough that you may come back to them. And then finally, there's the issue of entitlement. Narcissists believe that they are entitled to treat you any way they want because they are who they are, and that can manifest as rageful anger when you leave them. Many times, if you are in a situation where the narcissist was your primary caregiver, it can become a little tricky. It can be hard to decipher if it's grief over the loss of a relationship or if it's rage. With narcissistic parents, though, it's almost always rage because narcissistic parents don't grieve losses. They don't have that capacity. But they certainly can and will punish those children who leave them or try to set boundaries with them. So how do they do it? Well, we know the pattern of most breakups. There's usually an argument, there's usually a fight, there's usually some kind of tension building up to the breakup. The actual breaking up part can be somewhat surprising, but there's usually some tension and arguments that lead up to it. When the breakup happens, you may be experiencing a range of emotions: shock, disbelief, sadness, grief, anger. The narcissist will likely show none of these emotions. They'll be angry. They'll be enraged. They'll blame you. They'll criticize you. They'll attack you. They'll invalidate your experience. They'll punish you. They'll shame you. They'll mock you. They'll belittle you. They'll gaslight you. In other words, they will not take any responsibility for the breakup. It will be completely your fault. You were too needy. You were too sensitive. You weren't giving them enough attention. You were nagging. You were nitpicking. You weren't available enough. It will always be your fault. And it's important to remember that with many of these situations, especially when the narcissist was a primary caregiver, there is a power differential in the relationship. And because there is a power differential, it can feel like there are real consequences to pushing back, standing your ground, or speaking up. So what do? You do the only thing you can, which is disengage, detach, and don't engage with them. Don't argue, don't explain, don't engage. Recognize that this behavior is beyond unacceptable, but it is very common with narcissists, and there isn't much else you can do about it. Now, the intensity of the rage will depend upon several factors: how attached you were to the relationship, the length of the relationship, how close it was to you, how much of your life it encompassed, how much disruption there was in your life due to the relationship, and then, of course, how invested you were in it. Of course, there are also other factors at play, such as the personality of the individual, the degree of narcissism. Whether this is a vulnerable narcissist or a grandiose narcissist, some of these folks can be surprisingly vicious after a breakup. They can become quite cruel and cutting and demeaning and quite public with it. They can use social media. They can tell all your friends and family all the awful things about you. They may harass you via text or email or social media. They may show up at your house. They may call your friends and family to harass you, to stalk you. It can become quite dramatic and quite menacing and quite threatening. And I imagine this is what the person who wrote in asking this question feels like. Like there's been this transformation from the person being charming and charismatic to, after the breakup, becoming cruel, dismissive, and angry. You feel confused and hurt because this is a new side of the person that you didn't really experience before the breakup. And that's the thing about narcissism. You don't really experience the full force of it until after the relationship is over. Then you can see how they treated you, and the manipulation is so clear and the abuse is so clear. So what do? Well, you got to hold on to your reality and recognize that this is part of the process, that this is part of the cycle of narcissistic abuse, that you're not alone in this experience, that these people will always act this way when they lose you. These are patterns, not just with this person, but with many narcissistic people. You have to hold on to your reality, your truth, what you experienced in that relationship. Even if others don't get it, and even if the narcissistic person is telling everyone how horrible you are, you have to stay true to yourself and to your story. If you were abused in a narcissistic relationship, you can heal, but you have to get out of it first. So whatever that takes, do whatever you need to do to protect yourself. Block them. Go no contact. Don't engage. Detach. Disengage. However, it looks different for everyone, but holding on to your reality is the most important thing. You deserve peace and clarity, not confusion and self-doubt. Download your free Narcissist Recovery Starter Kit and get 7 clear steps to rebuild your confidence and reclaim your life. Watch the next video to know more about how you can know what to do when dealing with a narcissist in your relationship. Subscribe for weekly healing content to support your recovery journey. If you've been through this, if you're going through this, I'm sorry. It's painful, it hurts, but you're not alone. We're here for you. And if you need more support, please reach out to us. We have resources for you. And thanks again.